Hi, welcome to the Sit, Walk, Work podcast, a show about paying attention. My name is Dominic, your host, and today's episode is a standalone guided meditation designed to give you an opportunity to practice pretty much wherever you are.
Your work or your craft or something you've done for yourself or others in that area. And then a little bit of attention was given to appreciating the body and then appreciating the breath. Because those are the three things that we can actively work on making better, right? We all work on our jobs and our crafts and the things we do. We typically do that and give a lot of attention to that. We often will give attention to our bodies. That's why we're all here. We're all practice students. And so in some way, we're giving attention to our bodies. And lastly, we do things like meditate to help train our mind. And so, and the more we do those things, the stronger we get and the more capable we are. And lastly, allow yourself an opportunity to have appreciation for your mind, for its creativity, for the ways it's positively served you. It's easy to get focused on all the things that aren't being done, failing to realize all the things that do happen for us. Let yourself reflect or remember something that you're proud of that you've recently done at work or at home for yourself or for others. Allowing yourself to open your attention now to appreciating the body, your body, the body that you are sitting here observing. The one that's taking you this far and helped guide you and lead you to this point. You don't know how much you love your breath until you don't, or until it doesn't come back around, right? then you want your breath again.
You are ready to get into the practice. It will begin shortly after the following chimes.
If you haven't already taken a seated posture or lying down, go ahead and start to do that now. Put your hands in your lap or place them on your lap or on a table in front of you if you're sitting at a desk or anything like that. Or you can place your hands in one another, someplace where your hands are kind of just steady and they're going to rest for the practice. The practice, like I said, is 30 minutes. It's interspersed with periods of silence to kind of focus on, whatever part of the practice we're working through. And then we kind of move back and forth. So with the hands kind of steady and the seat kind of taken, make sure you can take a breath in and a breath out just fully and well, because breathing is an important part of our meditation practice. It's an anchor. It's a tool to focus our attention. And after you take a good breath, notice if you're holding any tension in your jaw, in your face, and then kind of soften in that area to kind of relax the muscles there. And if it feels good and it feels safe, the last kind of cue for setup is to close the eyes. And that closing of the eyes kind of takes us from the external space into the internal space, the place where we will begin to kind of shine our light of awareness on the various changing objects of our practice. With the eyes closed and the attention soft, let's start practice today by welcoming in a sense of gratitude or acknowledgement for the fact that you made it here. There's plenty of barriers to keep you from showing up to practice, and yet you still manage to find yourself and put yourself in this position. To slow down and focus on being for a moment instead of doing. To open yourself up to a space that allows you to focus on and a bit of awakening in your experience. And in this first part of practice, after our acknowledgement, after our small bit of gratitude, start to let that gratitude expand out into the breath. So taking your attention, taking just the general sense that the next breath you take in, that you appreciate, that it arrived on its own without any help from you. And then when you let that breath go, it came back again, starting the cycle over. That's one of the beauties of our breath, is that it comes into focus when you really start to appreciate it. Oftentimes, that's when we lose it or it's paused for a long period of time. But you can choose to do that right now with just the way you're thinking about it. And it's this following of the in breath, noticing where it enters the body. As you exhale, notice where the breath leaves the body, overlaid by the fact that the cycle starts again. So we'll take a minute or two to observe the breath. And as the breath comes back around or the mind gets distracted, we simply return back to observing the breath. This is where the practice becomes the practice. Because in the journey, it isn't to hold the attention in a rigid way. You will get distracted, you will get pulled away. But it's how you choose to return back to observing the breath that you start to find the moments of peace that may be present. You choose the breath as an anchor because the breath is always there. It's been there all day. It's been in the background, supporting you, activating you, providing you with energy. And it's only now that you've taken a moment to slow down that you can start to see it a little more clearly. You can begin to see that within the nature of something as simple as your breath, that there's a cycle of beginning, of maturing or growing, of collapsing and ending, of letting go. But our breath isn't the only thing that we're experiencing in this moment. There's a diverse amount of things occurring as you sit. The breath is one of them. Now I want you to begin to widen your attention from just the breath, but also start to notice how your body physically feels today, or rather, how your body physically feels right now in this moment. And as you kind of begin to explore that question, that can be very specific, like if there's a specific sensation or whether that's comfortable or uncomfortable that's kind of presenting itself. You might feel a certain part of the body that is kind of calling for your attention a little bit. Or you may notice very little at all. But as your attention drops back from being just solely focused on the breath, let your mind be free to notice a sensation, to pay attention to it. And then if it gets distracted by another sensation, pay attention to that. And then just kind of let the attention be a little more free. And can you begin to notice the weight of your body, kind of the tactile, physical, grounded nature of sitting still or lying still in this moment? As you feel for that support, contrast that feeling of sturdiness and steadiness with the lightness of your breathing, moving in this stable space that is your body, that is this moment. And this sense of feeling grounded, this lightness of your breath contrasted against it is an opportunity to recognize that within us there is a bit of steadiness, even amidst the movement and all of the changing elements of your experience. There is a part of you that is always grounded and always steady. And we'll use this kind of groundedness to kind of return to, returning to the breath, returning to this feeling anytime throughout the practice that you may feel that it's of value. And as you've kind of sat through this portion of your practice, your attention has been noticing the breath and noticing the body, but the mind is always in the background, running commentary, providing direction, sometimes being helpful, sometimes not so much. But it too is a part of the experience of this moment. And so the way we'll kind of touch into our thinking mind in our practice today is with a bit of contemplation. And what we do when we contemplate is we put a question into the experience and we notice the thoughts that come up around that question, the sensations we feel in our body, the impacts it has to our breath. And we can begin to learn how thinking shapes our physical experience. So the first question I'm going to put into the practice is let yourself reflect or remember something that you're proud of that you've recently done at work or at home for yourself or for others. And as you contemplate this idea, feel free to bring in as much visual information as you'd like about that moment. To allow the sense of joy, maybe gratitude that you might feel connected to being in service for yourself or for others. And if you notice yourself only focusing on the thought, take a moment and notice how you feel about the thought. it can be easy to forget that we are worthy of the same gratitude and compassion and kindness that we strive to give to others. And the work we do that often takes up a large volume of our time and our life can have value and meaning to us and to others. Allowing yourself to open your attention now to appreciating the body, your body, the body that you are sitting here observing, the one that's taking you this far and helped guide you and lead you to this point. Maybe recalling or reflecting on something that you're proud of, that you're able to do. And these things don't have to be very large or grandiose. They can be small and yet meaningful. It's easy to remember what has happened in the past or what you think should happen, rather than just being with what is right now in this moment and remembering, like your breath that changed or the sensations you felt that moved. Moments aren't permanent, and neither is this changing body, mind, breath. And lastly, allow yourself an opportunity to have appreciation for your mind, for its creativity, for the ways it's positively served you. It's easy to get focused on all the things that aren't being done, failing to realize all the things that do happen for us. Noticing how along the way the body and the breath have been influenced by what you were focusing your attention on. Connecting back to that sense of groundedness if it feels appropriate. In the next few minutes of practice, can you kind of release all or any of the prompts that we've used to this point and allow yourself to just sit with the changing moment to moment experience? This is kind of the totality. The thoughts are here, the breath is here, the sounds are here, the sensations are here. And can you take the next few minutes to sit with the neutral attitude? Take a breath in and then let the breath go. Take another breath in and let the breath go. Take a final breath in and let the breath go. When you're ready, you can begin to blink the eyes open. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I invite you to check out my Substack, where we are building a community of like-minded individuals to discuss all topics related to the idea of paying attention. I hope to see you there. But until then, with metta may you be well.